Namaste everybody, Joy Bakamakya. Uh, very soon we will be starting the Navaratras, which is, as many of you know, one of the most important times of the year for Durga Upasana, for Bhagavati Upasana, different forms of Devi. So I thought I'll make a video on some small aspects of the Navaratri that is coming, because many questions have come in asking about whether there are certain practices that can be done or what to do, or whether this mantra or that mantra or this thing can be done, etc. Again, before I start, let me clarify something which I've mentioned many times before. My mailbox is completely flooded, so which means that if you're mailing me, getting a response is very unlikely, because I can't even read the mails. Leave aside actually sitting and replying to them. It's 99% you will not get a response, and that applies to even whether you send messages or whatever else. Number two, for people who have been mailing with the idea that I am, or at least thinking that I am the guru, etc. I respect your sentiments, but again, this is not the point why any of the videos, interviews, anything was done. I have no intention of becoming anybody's guru or forming some kind of, I don't know, maybe a ashram or this or that, nothing. The whole idea is that there are certain sadhanas, certain clarifications, certain realities of sadhana, devata upasana, and these things can be brought out into the public. And if people follow those paths diligently, they can make sufficient progress on their own. It is not necessary that you will have to actually go and you need special attention from somebody, special care. There is a significant part of the journey which you can do on your own. Okay, so that is in fact the whole point of me starting reviving this channel and making these videos, so that it's easier for people to, instead of mailing me the same questions or going to 10 different places, there is a standard part of the journey where you yourself can cover that, provided you do the sadhanas as described or follow the rules of sadhana, which is sort of applicable to everybody. So that is the primary motive behind making these videos. Another point some people mentioned about making videos in Hindi and Bengali. Maybe in coming times I may try that, but at this moment I will be making mostly in English. As it is, I think there are already 10 times the volume of videos in Hindi than any other language on dharmic topics. So anybody interested, I'm sure you'll find something or the other on the internet uploaded in YouTube. Genuine materials of related to upasana, padhyatis, this, that, etc. So it's not really. I do not see that there is a lack of material in Hindi specifically. So that should not be a problem in the first place. Searching for something that you can practice. That said, going ahead, I will make some in Hindi and some in Bengali too. But primarily, this channel will have English as the main language in which the communication will happen. Now, this Tuesday happens to be amavasya, and from Wednesday there is the beginning of the Navaratras. This amavasya specifically falls on a Tuesday, is considered to be extremely auspicious. इसको कहा जाता है भौम amavasya. Bhauma, the word comes from Mars. So whenever Mangal or Shani coincides with an amavasya, that amavasya becomes extremely powerful for various kinds of prayogas, specific sadhanas, specifically aimed at removing things that are negative in nature. So these days of the year, when certain tithis coincide with certain days of the week, upasakas actually wait for those times for performing if they have certain kind of kamya prayog in their mind which they want to do. So kamya prayog means a sadhana for a specific desire. Now, what kind of desire? Because it is amavasya, because it is Mars. Mars is Mangalvar, which means controlled by Mars, which is one of the more violent grahas, very sharp, very strong, and also linked to uh, violent energies. And amavasya by itself is a tithi that has links to the cremation ground. So these specific combination days are very potent for doing sadhanas that can be used to remove or at least reduce the impact of very strong negatives, whether it's diseases, whether it's abhichar, whether it's various other things. But of course, if you are not into sadhana already, and if you have not been doing sadhana for sufficient number of years, and you are not accustomed to the rules and the rigors of the process, you may not be able to suddenly accomplish a result on one day. But I'm just saying this for the sake of information, in case it is useful to somebody. One of the most interesting sadhanas of Ma Durga, which anybody can do, और ये ऐसा साधना है कि जिसके लिए आपको दीक्षा भी नहीं चाहिए. सो बाकी सब कोई भी अगर मंत्र साधना करना है जिसमें कोई बीज मंत्र वगैरह है, यू विल नीड एन इनिशिएशन फ्रॉम ए गुरु. यू आइडियली यू कैन नॉट डू इट ऑन योर ओन. इसका कारण ये है कि इट इज़ नॉट दैट इफ़ यू जस्ट पिक अ मंत्र एंड डू, उसमें इमीडिएटली कोई नेगेटिव रिएक्शन होने वाला है. 60-70% cases there may be no negative reaction, but 30% cases there may be a negative reaction. And whether you fall in the 70% or the 30%, ये पहले से कोई बता नहीं सकता है. It is your luck. So the reason why this was designed this way is to take the worst case scenario into account. कि आपका ये चीज़ whether you are into that category where some negative reaction can start, negative in the sense because the energy it will invoke may not gel with your mind and body in the current state. Your mind body needs certain level of purity to handle that power. If that purity is not there, then that power is going to clash with your mind and body. It will produce some kind of a negative reaction, whether a physical discomfort or some kind of some other kind of problems, etc. it may create. In order to avoid that, that is why the process of initiation was given, so that the guru can through the diksha process help to remove these obstacles, or at least reduce these obstacles, or give you the right advice that in case you face obstacles, how do you go about navigating them or bypassing them or passing through them. Okay. However, there is one sadhana of Ma Durga, and I myself have done it many times earlier, and I have recommended this to a lot of people over years, which does not require any initiation, and it is very, very effective. There is a stotra of Ma Durga which is known as the dwatrimsati namavali stotra. 32 names, 32 special names of Ma Durga. You can easily find it on the internet. Just giving Google search will give you a list of all the names. Now these 32 names are extremely special. ये ऐसे माना जाता है कि माँ दुर्गा ने खुद ये 32 नाम 32 नेम्स ब्रह्मा आदि देवताओं को उन्होंने बताया था, और उन्होंने ये भी बोला था कि अगर कोई किसी समय पे संकट आता है, जो एनी प्रॉब्लम जिसका सोल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा है, तो ये 32 नामों का साधना किया जाए, and it has the power to remove some of the biggest problems from life, provided the sadhana is done in the right manner and to the right degree. It is very important to understand this. यानी आपको अगर if somebody, to use a very general example, suppose somebody is suffering from very, very strong disease, okay, say cancer or something like that, just example I'm giving. So obviously, if you keep taking painkillers, that is not going to cure. You may have to go through operation and chemotherapy and whatever else, etc. Same way, if the problem that you are facing is very intense, then just reading the 32 names once, twice, 3 times उससे कुछ होने वाला नहीं. You have to do it with that intensity and that volume of the sadhana. ये बहुत important है. तो as the Navaratris are coming, during this time somebody, if people, those who are aware of this, very good. Those who are not aware of this and you are confused ki what sadhana you can try, you might try doing the Parayana, the part of these 32 names. So it is actually very simple padhati to do. If you don't have anything at home, then just take an asan in your puja room, light one diya. Diya has to be always there. Try and have a diya always whenever you are doing this, any sadhana, because it is like a witness. The diya becomes the witness of the sadhana that you are doing. So have a diya, put an agarbatti, and start reciting those 32 names. And baki normal rules of any basic puja, which is that take a bath, wear some clean clothes if possible, and sit down aram se, and then in a puja place with agarbatti etc., and pray to Ma Durga, and you can start chanting this. Now, how many times to chant, that is up to you. One good way is that if you can chant, say 32 times every day, or if you are doing it for 9 days, you may want to chant 108 times, or you may even chant 320 times. That is 32 names done 320 times. Okay, this is also a specific prayoga of this 32 names. If somebody is keen on doing it, with a specific sankalpa in mind, there is some big problem that is happening, you might want to then try doing this sadhana. You decide to chant this stotra 1000 times in a span of 11 days or 21 days, and after that do 1/10 Homa of this stotra. That produces a very strong result if these two are done properly. 1000 times Parayana of this 32 names, and to be done over a period of say 9, 11 or 21, or depending on the individual, who not putting a specific time frame is not being put, up to you. You decide how much time you want to take for it. And then after the 1000 names are done, if you know how to do a Homa, then you do a Homa with 1/10, which is the 100 times ahuti of those names. It cannot be done in one Homa, maybe 2 or 3 Homas you can finish it. Okay, there is a very strong positive result you may get after this. If the problem is even larger, even bigger problem, really very intense and very big, then one may do an even more stronger prayoga of this stotra, which is to chant it 10,000 times. Okay, 10,000 times, and then do homas of it. 1/10 Homa, that is 1000 ahutis of this stotra in a fire. But this is only when the problem is really big, very, very big. If one cannot do it on his own, so anyway, for average purposes, it is good enough to do this stotra at least say 20 times, or or 32 times as mentioned earlier, and carry on a regular basis. Or for this 9 days, you might want to do it 108 times every day, and maybe on the 9th day, if you can do homas, good. If you do not know homas, that is fine, no problem. Then you just go to, if possible, you can feed, do a kumari puja on the 9th day, and then visit any temple of Ma Durga or any Devi temple, and in the temple you make some offerings in the temple, give a simple puja in the temple, and make an offering of a coconut, etc. So these 32 names have exceptional power in them, and I have seen how powerfully it works. The stotras, the sadhanas that I mentioned are only only a fraction of the various sadhanas that are possible using these 32 names. Many things can be done. Many more things can be done. I mean, those who are deeper into Devi Upasana, they will know what to do with these, and they may even intuitively understand that how this can be brought into an application. But the greatest advantage of this 32 names is that it has a power which is sort of can be done by anybody without the necessity of a diksha from a qualified guru. Okay, so that is why this becomes powerful and this becomes so potent. Regularly doing this, as it happens with any upasana of Ma Durga, if somebody regularly does it and the sadhana starts working, one of the first things you will see is a tremendous protective aura that is created in the individual. So there is a certain degree of protection that comes in the physical body. So diseases etc. are going to be, it's not protection from diseases becomes easier, or if there is a disease already there, then the chances of cure increases if Ma Durga Upasana is being done correctly and it is working. That is the important thing. Just doing is not enough. Hundreds of people do, but the activation of the mantra, activation of stotra requires the extra effort, patience, discipline, concentration, these things. That said, this there is another very powerful prayoga of this 32 names. This is not necessary to do for everybody, and perhaps it is not useful for all, but I'm still mentioning this, that if daily 108 Parayana of these names are done for a period of 9 days, and every day one lemon is offered as bali to Ma Durga, okay, for 9 days, you will see many big problems. If there are very strong problems that are affecting the individual, there will be solutions that will come once the 9 days are over. However, there is a slight caveat in this, that if you are giving lemons to Ma Durga, and this is a very common practice in South, by the way, okay, lemon is one of the balis that can be given to Ma Durga. You might find initially that there is a sudden, your problems will suddenly just increase before things calm down and a solution emerges. Because finally, how does suppose your problems are really big, how does a deity actually solve or help or give her blessings to the upasak to remove the problems that he or she is facing? And why are they facing in the first place? Because they might have done something in past lives, which is the karmic impact of that. So for a devata to feel that kindness, that he or she will intervene in the karmas of an upasaka, it requires a strong intensity of sadhana, genuine sadhana. Apart from being according to the right padhati, there has to be that intensity inside, that passionate connection to the devata. Then and then only the deity will intervene. Now, how is the intervention going to happen? For a fierce deity like Ma Durga, etc., the rearrangement of the karmas will be done by her, but during the rearrangement, you may feel a bit of pinch. This is just like if somebody, to take another example, so there is an injury or something happens to an individual, he goes to doctor and the doctor says, okay, I can cure this provided there is an operation done. So during the operation there may be a little bit of pain. Same thing. So here the devata, say Ma Durga, she is like the doctor and she will cure the individual of the karmic problems. But for that initially there is going to be pain. You can sort of keep this in mind in case you are doing the last vidhi that I mentioned. But preferably for most people, the best advice is, instead of trying these, just try, take a list of those 32 names, and from the first day of the Navaratri, start doing them depending on your time and your dedication and your your motivation. Whether you do it 32 times or you do it 54 times or you do it 108 times. Okay, 9 days. And if you like it, you may even continue it beyond that also, because this is only and only a positive thing. There is nothing negative in this, and it's one of those very powerful things which are kept in the open today. And it does not require the initiation, which is the best part. Whereas on the other hand, there are some people, various people keep sending mails with mantras of Ma Kali, etc. Those are Mahavidya mantras, will require an initiation from the Guru, just to be on the safe side. You should not ideally try randomly Mahavidya mantras without having a proper Guru Diksha. It is risky. I mean, it may be that nothing can happen to you, it's good enough, but you still don't know. And if something happens, it may actually pull you down to a condition worse than when you started. And then recovering from that state becomes difficult. So that is why the initiation is such an important process in the sadhana, specifically in tantric sadhana, which makes me remind once again, put this reminder once again for people, that those who have emailed asking for diksha or guidance specifically, I think you are getting it wrong. I do not give diksha, neither do I have any specific disciples, etc., etc. That is not at all the aim of coming into public and speaking of these sadhanas, or in any of the interviews, etc. No, the aim is that there is a lot of rational processes in sadhana which, if you understand correctly and if you apply it into your life, along with it you have the patience to carry on. Try it for 2-3 years. You will see on your own whether it produces results or not. You will see on your own how the blessings, what it means to have the blessings, genuine blessings of a deity. Another point, this reminds me, very often I also get emails or messages from people who think that there is some deity who's contacting them, either in dreams, sapne mein ho, ya even in intuitive, a feeling that you are speaking to the deity, or the deity is speaking to you and giving you an instruction. Now, whether this is true or false means I'm not saying that the individual is lying. I am saying that it may be true. हो सकता है कि कोई देवता, किसी एक व्यक्ति का ऐसा पूर्व जन्म का संस्कार ऐसा है कि उन्होंने ऐसा साधना पिछले जन्म में कर चुका है, सो दैट विदाउट मच एफर्ट अपने आप से जो देवता है, इष्ट देवता है या कोई भी देवता है, comes into contact with the individual and starts guiding, और या कुछ has some communication with the individual. हो सकता है, बट ये भी पॉसिबल है, एंड दिस हैपन्स वेरी ऑफन, कि it is something else, not the deity, or it is like a imagination, very fertile imagination, okay, so very strong imagination. ये भी होता है. ये इसी, none of these are lies, by the way. The individual truly believes that that something is happening, some deity is in contact, some being is in contact, and everybody likes to believe that it is a deity, because our human mind is like that. Okay, to figure out कि ये whether it is truly a devata या आप और देवता के बीच में there are hundreds of other beings, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, पूरा सूक्ष्म जगत में, एस्ट्रल वर्ल्ड में भरा हुआ कैटेगरीज ऑफ बीइंग्स आर देयर, एंड आई एम नॉट इवन सेइंग नेगेटिव बीइंग्स, ये सब पॉजिटिव ही है, लेकिन एक स्तर के बाद एक 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 बहुत सारी चीज़ें, मेनी थिंग्स आर देयर. एनी वन ऑफ देम कैन ऑल्सो कम इन टू कॉन्टैक्ट विद एन उपासक, एंड द उपासक विल हैव नो वे ऑफ नोइंग कि ये आप जिनसे आपका संपर्क हो रहा है वो क्या माँ दुर्गा ही है या कोई और है, यक्षिणी है, कोई योगिनी है, कोई समथिंग एल्स, एक्सेट्रा. सो मेनी अदर थिंग्स आर देयर. Okay, anything is possible, and I am not even counting those beings which are negative in nature. उसको वो तो छोड़ ही दो आप. So, not to confuse people, but in any case, whether it is genuinely a case of a deity contacting you or somebody else contacting you, the first foundational principle is this, that आपको साधना करना पड़ेगा. If you are not into the process of regular sadhana, foundational principle, regular nitya upasana hona chahiye, and it should continue for years without break. नित्य उपासना अगर नहीं है किसी का, और he or she feels that there is some deity contacting and asking you to do x y z etc etc, या तो वो experience, if it is genuine, it will not produce any spiritual growth, and b, it may be something else which is even more problematic, or c, it may just be some kind of temporary कुछ कार्मिक चीज़ है जिसके लिए हुआ है, and maybe in a year or sometime later this thing will go away. So eventual point is that you will never get any genuine benefit out of interaction with a devata unless your basic upasana is in place, और this is irreplaceable. इसका कोई ऑल्टरनेटिव है नहीं. आप अगर उपासना नहीं कर रहे हो रेगुलरली, इफ नित्य उपासना होना चाहिए, एंड इट शुड गो ऑन फॉर फ्यू ईयर्स विदाउट ब्रेक, मिनिमम फ्यू ईयर्स तो कुछ भी नहीं है. 3 to 4 years इज लाइक जस्ट द नर्सरी ऑफ साधना. आइडियली इट शुड बी 12 years ऑफ साधना. उसके कम में अगर आपको कुछ मिल रहा है साधना इस स्पिरिचुअलिटी के फील्ड में, देन इट इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू लास्ट, और इट इज़ नॉट अ जेन्युइन थिंग. इट इज़ इम्पॉसिबल. Good things take time. You have to build up to it, and this is the honest truth of things. Anybody else tells you that you can achieve great heights in spirituality 3 महीना 6 महीना 5 महीना कुछ करके 10-12 दिन, कुछ नहीं होने वाला. Those are just temporary things. Even if it is genuine, if it is genuine, it will not last, or else it is not even genuine. कुछ तो अपना ही भ्रम है. And the world is filled with people who are so desperate to believe that they will believe just about anything to make themselves feel special. So the fundamental idea is you must have a sadhana which you have to carry on, and that is the determining mark between who will eventually succeed and who will not. जो साधना कर रहा है, eventually one day the success will come. And one day means don't expect 1 year, 2 year. Years and years you keep doing without break. ऐसा नहीं 6 महीना किया 2 महीना बंद करके बैठा हुआ, या साल में एक महीना किया 10-15 दिन किया etc, and then don't feel like doing it. नहीं, it should be unbroken. नित्य उपासना means नित्य उपासना, like every day you eat food, every day you have to do the sadhana. With that mindset, if you do sadhana for years, you will get results. इसमें यू डोंट नीड एनी, कोई मैजिक नहीं है, कोई मिराकुलस थिंग नहीं है, कोई आसमान से कोई दिव्य गुरु आके कुछ आपका कर दिया और फिर कुंडली जागृत हो गया, ये हो गया, वो कुछ नहीं. दिस इज़ अ प्रोसेस, और ये ही है नेचर का प्रोसेस. एनीबडी हु डज दिस, एंड माइंड यू द साधना हैज़ टू बी इन द राइट पद्धति, दैट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. हाँ, दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आप पद्धति में कुछ गड़बड़ कर दिया आपने, यू ऐड समथिंग, सब्ट्रैक्ट समथिंग, और यू मेक योर ओन स्टफ ऑन योर ओन, फिर तो आप 1000 साल भी करते रहिए, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. दोज पद्धतिज आर व्हाट इज फिक्स्ड इन द शास्त्रस, विच मेक्स द शास्त्रस इज द फर्स्ट गुरु. सब गुरु के ऊपर अगर कोई गुरु बैठा है वो है शास्त्र. शास्त्र में इतना शक्ति है कि इट इज क्रिएटेड गुरुज, सेंट्स, सिद्ध, सब शास्त्र के आधार पे बने हैं. शास्त्र के जो शक्ति है, उन वही शक्ति इन सबको बनाया है. So that is why the Shastra is the first most important guru, and that is also why in the Shastras where Guru Lakshana is mentioned, what are the signs of a great guru? One of the typical things always is that the guru has to know the Shastra. Whatever is the field, whatever is the branch of spirituality, for which branch that a specific individual is a guru, must know the shastras of that branch. Otherwise you cannot guide. Only having spiritual experience, mystical experience, मैं ध्यान में निर्वाण में पहुंच जाता हूँ, ये होता है वो तो सब अच्छी बात है, so all that is good, no problem. But if you don't know the shastras, you will not be able to guide, or your guidance may not even be correct. Eventually it will fall back and cause problems. That is why above all else there is the shastras. Not one, but our dharma is the dharma of multiple shastras, and you have to know what are the shastras relevant to the path that you are following. Understood? So which means that if you are doing Bhagavati Upasana, it is good to read the Devi Puran or the Devi Bhagavatam, Kalika Puran, or any other texts of Devi. The Bhagavad Gita, for example, is a very good text, but it is not a direct praman or direct shastra that governs the path of Devi Upasana. So you have to understand these simple common sense ideas. इसमें complicated कुछ नहीं है, एकदम rationally this has been made. Okay, so if you apply it properly, if you apply it logically, if you follow the basic rules, you will eventually attain to a very good state in sadhana. So with this, I will end the video now. I hope you have a very good Navaratri. Joy Ma Kamakhya.